Wait. So I think my past video, which I don't think was that good anyway, my past video might have failed because I had picked up my headphone and then it started. I have like plenty of fucking gigs on my fucking phone. I have like 200 gigs, which is fucking crazy. But wait, let me just check to see you're still playing. Yeah, you're still playing. So, yeah, SE is, oh God. You know, sometimes I think I can just like say more until like my pancreas, my pancreas explodes. But it's really not true. It's really more like I'm kind of becoming like less and less economical and becoming more and more like brain shit, which I think that's the biggest sort of distinction and the one I take most seriously on word lines, because I think the digital functions are also more wordy. Because if you think about words, what are they? Words are kind of like words and symbols and flops versus sops or whatever. Floating point operations per second versus sensory operations per second. They're faster at one thing, or slower. They're probably slower. They're slower, but then also they take more time. So then sort of sensory stuff can feel like it's going slow because you do it fast, while logical stuff can feel fast because you do it slow. So you're like, whoa, too fast. Now, where do these interface? Are they measuring two different things, or are they measuring one and the same thing? And in the case that they're two different things, is one more or is one less? And in what quality are they more or less? And then you can also discuss free will and sort of possibility, right? In those terms, does one create possibilities while another just measures them? Which, if you think about it, that's kind of the idea of ideas and of themselves, is a new way to see things. It's sort of a sixth sense, right? While sixth sense, all these ideals, while the truth about good. You can't be too reactive in basketball. It has to be just the right amount of reactivity, because otherwise you kind of overshoot because you're too herky-jerky. Any is herky-jerky. If you can hear this, it's herky-jerky. But that's because digital information isn't smooth. Digital information isn't smooth because It's ones and zeros. It's simply immeasurable. Or it's a map that doesn't fit the territory. I've been reading this book, Where Things Come From. Where do things come from? And I was mentioning it. I was kind of alluding my own wishy-washy liberal postmodern bullshit while I was working at this music store. And you know, the thing about American conservatives is they tend to be this like libertarian type who are like you know, the government, Nancy Pelosi, and you know, like, who doesn't dislike the government to some extent? But it feels just like this, you know, like, yeah, fuck you, mom and dad, I want to drive my car. Like, that was made an entire ideology of, I want to be a cool guy. Which is insanely funny. You know, like, whether or not it's right or wrong, and whether or not that's like a fair depiction of mine, or maybe it's just me being like a sassy liberal bitch. What I kind of feel about that is, to a certain extent, the great man idea sort of says, oh, these things I did, they were from my great power that comes inside of me, which is my own, you know, unique ideas in my brain, and my power and bravery, and stuff like that. Which I feel like comes from this shit. I'm like eating shit. Fuck yeah. I'm getting more accurate, I think. It comes from this sort of material chauvinism. So like, what was the conversation I was having? It was something along the lines of like, you know, identity, like I identify as a this or that. And I don't know why it came to that. Like, was that before or after Nancy Pelosi was mentioned? Shit. Fuck. Shit. This shouldn't be a good video. Anybody who watches this, I'm sorry. This is my shit post. This is like shit posting. This is like irony. Irony and shit. But also, to be fair, this is actually how I feel in like a lot of social situations. So you should find it normal, because this is actually what it's like to like talk to me. Or for me to talk to people, it's like, you know, they're playing basketball at the same time. Can have varying degrees of kind of like social connection and common feeling. That's not I can't do that underhand, bro. Now, the sort of goods chauvinism, where does it come from? This sort of skill chauvinism, too, where it's like, oh, if you're not doing something, you just have this bullshit job to, like, make you feel better, you know? If you're not producing a product or getting a product closer to me? What are you, like some gender studies sort of person? Which these people also underestimate, management, what it takes to kind of like, help people and sort of like encourage them to be who they are, do administrative work, all this stuff, the importance of that in our modern world, but also at the same time, the sort of, of course that's bullshit, but, what they do themselves can be bullshit, like, why is it actually important? Is there, some sort of, bourgeois sort of, commodity fetishization to you being like, yeah, I like my truck, And is that bad in the first place to, have this thing which is an extension of your penis? My truck is my penis, yeah. I don't get why feminists are always like that, like, this is an extension of your penis. This basketball is an extension of your penis. This physicality is an extension of your penis. Everything is, it's like you're taking sort of Freud and like his penis envy concept with women, and you're just kind of inverting it, like, oh, like everything men do is like to feel seen and shit like that, which it's like, okay, I mean, sure, but like, women like to be seen, but then in contrast, there's this kind of like, women act like this, but they actually want that and like stuff in the manosphere, where people are like, women are actually like real shallow. They're like, they just want money and a man who got a job, and they just want to be like fucking protected, and they'll kind of like, ask other people for help. They're actually kind of like fucking dumb bitches, and they don't actually know how to do anything, and they should actually just stay in the kitchen. And to have virtue as a woman is just to like shut the fuck up and let me speak. Which, of course that's exaggerated, but some people really do talk like that. And more people than you think, And it's kind of implied by saying, like, in all these jobs where it's disproportionately men, it's just because men are good at that. Because you're implying that, like, social life is, I understand what it's like to be a woman, because I'm never, like, discouraged to, like, you can't do this or that or the other thing, because, and women shouldn't be either, because they should just be like, I can do anything. And the fact is that, what society says about you doesn't matter, because, society doesn't say anything about me because I'm a white guy, and nobody says anything bad about white guys, and I have nothing against me. And then, like, in contrast, if I'm a failure and I'm a white guy, then I'm angry because, like, fucking, I don't know how to fuck. Fucking nothing matters and everything matters, okay? Okay? Nothing matters and everything matters. It's real, it's not real, it's your mom's salad that made you autistic, okay? Whatever. Fuck. God. Fucking damn it. I missed. I got it. So I think I got into a bigger thing than, like, SE, which, like, what is identity, Your identity isn't really, and your will to do things isn't really divided, harshly from, like, the world, is it? Or is it? And then in that case, you can be like, oh, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But then, like, okay, then what does that even mean? Like, have independence. You don't actually have independence. Like, literally you can, like, do this and that, but did you actually do most of that? Like, did you pave the fucking roads that you drove on? Did you build the car that you bought? Whatever you deserve, whatever you've done, you did it from your sort of comfy place in, like, American society and shit. And you can say, oh, these people deserve the actual credit because they invented things and stuff like that. Not these politicians who like do this or that stuff, but it's all fucking connected, and you can't moralize the world away and say like, oh, these are the things that matter, these are the things that don't. It's individuality, because that's just a fucking cult of like, you know, like, oh, these are the things that matter, these are the things that don't. I only respect these things, I won't respect these things. Or like, oh, you know, like everybody respects like Edison, Tesla, because they did cool things. You know, innovation is good, but like how much innovation is good? You know, do you not like value your own self? Of course you value your own self. So you should value like other people's lives too, in the same way. Can you? No, not actively, of course, because like you're not other people. But should you? Yeah. And should you acknowledge these sort of things? I mean, to an extent, yeah. You don't have to reify them, which I think is the sort of danger. But you don't have to say like, oh, whatever you say, it's not like real to me because like I don't have those problems. Because that's just an asshole sort of thing. Or like, oh, it's not real to me because actually I think this like weird mystical shit is real. Or it's not real to me because I have like this or that sort of philosophy where it's like I don't really care about like the evidence. And then what is the evidence? You know, we'll have like a lot of people disagree with how other people like live their fucking lives, because it's like, you know, there's certain things like, oh, you like kill gorillas and have sex with them. That's unacceptable. Don't do that. I have to tell like the one person in my audience not to kill gorillas and have sex with them. That's fucking tight. It's probably me. I would end up doing that, like, you know, like, this is the only thing. It's too weird to really say it's deranged, because nobody would want to fucking do that, you know, in the first place. So, like, is a gorilla even fuckable? That's probably a gorilla. Is this crane even fuckable? Damn. This is how people are gonna like watch videos. Like, I think soon, that's what Snapchat is basically, but they're like shorter videos. But why not have like longer videos of just your friends playing basketball? Who even watches my videos? Like, whoever watches my videos, it's probably like not even the same people. But you should like comment on this or something. I don't know. You've probably like clicked off already. Made the shot. Might as well dunk it. Oh yeah, I missed that. That was like 6 inches away, so I shouldn't have. Yeah, I don't have a good enough jump to dunk. I probably could dunk. I'm going to bed. What kind of words are those? Never go to bed. A mere adjustment makes for a different kind of failure, or a different kind of success, or leads from some kind of success to some kind of failure, or failure to success. Or maybe failure and success aren't measured at all. These are the wise words from Harry Slattery. See, that was a failure, or success. Fuckcess. Success. Smoke cess. Keep on missing this shit. It's like my grandma. Because I miss her. Yeah, I made that shot. 3-pointer. I don't know why it's harder closer up than it is further away. Like, why does the angle fuck with me? Man, I'm getting good at that. So, you know, your identity is fake, it's fiction. It's whatever you decide it is. What is bravery? What is intelligence? Other than, like, what you happen to do at the time. What is preference, even? So, ideas, that was a swing and a miss. Ideas become junk. Ideas become whatever is outside the real range of the possibilities. Now, from a pragmatist standpoint, your ideas are limited to the scope of your thought, what can be sort of practically done, say in fiction, for instance. That's why, no matter how wishy-washy you are, you tend to have a certain stability of character, because you really can't do that much. You can't become non-linear as that guy in charge of that, not the ISS, but the sort of American counterpart to CERN that didn't, end up. He became non-linear. What if he became non-linear as a person? Completely unpredictable. Just becoming different things, different, concepts, a new color, a new thing, light color that you can pick your favorite of. An 8th SI unit, the thing outside the new dimension of the universe. Yes. So, I wonder what makes me underthrow. I wonder if it's like a different thing that makes you underthrow versus overthrow. Or maybe it's not. That was an underthrow. Yeah! People like commenting on this video are gonna be like, what the fuck kind of video is this? It's the possibilities video. The possibilities are endless. What is this video? The possibilities are endless. Endless possibilities. Outside of your own scope of imagination. Yes! Like, one of the reasons, and I'm done playing basketball. One of the reasons, so I consider myself a mathematician is because math, or as my friend Joshua L. would say, more like philosophy, it's kind of like a prospecting of the possible, at least in linguistic terms. And what science and ideas have done for us, seeing new colors, experiencing new situations. Like, when I was like 16 or something, or whenever Interstellar came out, I saw Interstellar. I forget if it was with friends. I think it was with friends. And I was like, yeah, that was fucking like tight. because he went into like the 4th dimension, and I don't know, certain time travel stories like Steins Gate sort of inspire me, because I feel like, well, time travel itself is a bit boring because you're experiencing the same possibilities. But say you time traveled into like different dimensions where different stuff was possible. Now, dimensions themselves are kind of a boring idea. You know, even infinite dimensions where like everything is possible, because that kind of like, you know, the instant you say it, I think to any is the instant it becomes boring, because the instant you say it, and this is like along the side the flops versus sops, floating point operations per second, sensory operations per second sort of thing, which is that, why do words exist? Words exist alongside technology, other technologies, in our imagination to fill in the gaps that haven't happened yet, or that haven't, you know, we have this verb happen, this modality do, things that haven't happened yet, things we haven't done yet. But then, for instance, you know, we say, oh, I'm going to text my friend, or I'm going to call my friend, or stuff like that. But say, you know, with time travel, we like travel in time. And say with electricity, why do we think, you know, there isn't a new electricity, or a new time, or a new something like that, where the possibility of doing stuff is expanded, you know? It's a higher dimension, you know, of acting, where we just haven't glitched into that space yet. I think that's why, like, video games fascinated me as a kid, is because, you know, you evolve something and you get these new capabilities, these new tools, new capabilities. And that's something you really don't get from many other things. Sorry, my hand. Because, to a certain extent, in the real world, the skills, what do they really accomplish? And there's no, like, big narrative and shit. But then, what does SE do? SE kind of creates that narrative, or something. NI creates that narrative, while NESI can be a bit like, you know, I'm layering this narrative on top of reality. So, you know, it just wants to have fun. It's just like goofing around. While NISE is like very serious. And you could say these are like two ways of telling a story altogether. You know, from the perspective of problem solving, NESI is not about problem solving. It's more about, you know, fun, or at least that's my perspective of it. It's kind of useless to an extent. Putting back my basketball, I am gonna take a fall. I am gonna get home. Okay. And then TIFE is also similarly useless. SE is just useful. I don't think I really explained what SE was in this video, but I guess that's how the cookie crumbles. Okay, well, that's the end of the video.